Yeah, dude. All right, so me and Brayden watched Beetlejuice today, man, in the theater. Honestly, like, there was a good amount of people in there. There's, like, a group of, like, it's probably 3 different groups, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but at City Walk, bro, there's, like, no one that goes there at all. And there's, like, literally the past probably 3 movies we've been to, there's been no one there. Like, the last one, there was literally no one. It was
Nobody.
crazy. And
because
so, like,
wherever we wanted to sit.
yeah, it was pretty gnarly. So, like, this one, there's probably about 3 different groups of people. One of the most packed theaters we've been to in a minute. And they made over $100 million this weekend. Beetlejuice did. So they're killing it right now. They're making a lot of money. And rightfully so, because I thought it was a fun one. Me and Brayden both watched Beetlejuice 1 when we were younger. We know the general overall story of it, but just not a lot of, like, the small little details. But we did have a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, but did have experience with Beetlejuice before. It was both of our moms' like favorite Halloween movies, and so we always had that kind of playing. But yeah, another thing too, Brayden, that Catherine O'Hara is the mom of Winona. I didn't think so, but I guess she was, which kind of
That's her actual mom?
Not her actual mom. No. But I'm saying, like, that's like her mom in the movie. Because remember we were talking about that? And I was like, no, I don't think so, because there was a family that died in the original one, but no, that original family was a different family. Catherine O'Hara is the one that moved in, with Winona being the daughter that could see the ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was. But there were some weird moments where, like, they didn't really refer to her as her mom. Am I tripping? There was a couple.
Because they were just they touched on, like, their estranged relationship when they were younger, and she was like, "You grew up resenting me," and she was like, "I didn't resent you." Da da da. But, like, I don't know, like, with the ending, with what happened at the end, I was kind of just like, "Oh, miss you." It's like, bro, what?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, this movie has some really wholesome moments, but, like, and we're not trying to look too deep into it, because, like, obviously this is a movie where, like, it's a funny, campy movie, but no, there was definitely a moment like that where I was like, okay, and a couple other ones, it led into the comedy a little bit, but it definitely could have added a little bit more. One of the moments that I thought really worked was with the dad, like you said, seeing Jenna Ortega. And having that moment, we'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, Brayden, what'd you think of the film, man? What's, like, the overall rundown? How'd you feel? What were your expectations?
So I wouldn't waste a single fucking penny on this piece of shit film.
Go watch The Crow.
Yeah, no, The fucking Crow. No, so this movie, it's not. The weird thing is, it didn't, like. It definitely was better than I expected, because I didn't really but it, like, didn't, like, I don't know how I'm saying it. It's like I expected it to be a good movie, and it was a good movie. I really enjoyed the visuals. I really enjoyed the cast. Like, there was a familiarity to it. They really played into, like, the gags and the humor of the movie, but they also played into, like, the realness of, like, growing up with seeing a parent with resentment, kind of sees, like, how it trickled down the family. It was kind of like, very similar. What I was saying to my mom, what I like about this movie a lot is it introduced Jenna Ortega to be this main character, but, like, in actuality, we still are always following Winona Ryder. Like, you know what I mean? She's still the main character of the movie, which I really like, because I feel like they tried to do that thing where they pass the reins off too early. And I feel like now I like both of them. So now if it was something in the next movie or something, like, they did it perfectly where I'd be okay, like, her taking over. You know what I mean?
Point. Now, I didn't even think you're 100% right. Because there are a lot of those reboots that, like you said, that the main character's there.
Like the Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Just felt forced. Yeah. This one, I liked it. It felt like they were equally, like, important of the story. You know what I mean? But it still almost felt reliant on Winona,
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. And now that you bring that up, I'm thinking too, like, there are so many characters in this movie and so many legacy characters in this movie. You know what I mean? You got Winona Ryder, you have Catherine O'Hara, the mom, you have Beetlejuice himself. Like, there's a lot of returning characters in this film, and a lot of new characters as well, to where it's like they could have easily have messed up the pacing and stuff. But Brayden, this was a 2-hour movie It didn't feel like a 2 hour movie. It went by pretty quick. Like they
It
did a
did.
really good job. Like there's a lot of it's a very fast paced movie. I
Yeah.
mean there's the only time I will say this, whenever there is a long scene, you feel the length of the scene because the rest of the movie is so fast paced. Like there was a oh my god, there's a scene with Jenna Ortega. Yeah, it's when she was like going through the pictures of her dad and stuff. Like that scene just felt so slow compared to the rest of the movie that it felt kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, though, like you didn't. I personally didn't feel the pacing of the film at all throughout this, which is interesting because I haven't felt that the past two films. So we're on a nice little streak here. But yeah, I really enjoyed
Please keep it
that.
up, please.
Please do, bro. I don't know what movie we have this week, but we got some bangers coming up, dude. We got Wicked, we got Gladiator, we got some good ones, dude.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, and some horror movies I know for sure that are gonna be popping out now. But but yeah, like there's so many different characters in this film. Brayden kind of hit it the nail on the head. Like it's they did a really good job of managing all that when they easily could have. So stuff could have been forced and it could have got really sloppy, but they did a really good job with it. Especially when you're playing with legacy characters, that can really fans can get pretty emotional about some stuff. But I thought they found a nice balance.
Hmm. Yeah, no. I thought all around the movie was great. And I was just telling my mom, this is a hot take. I know not a lot of people are gonna love this or agree with this. I I'm not a big like Tim Burton guy. Like
Mm,
not really. You know what
mm,
I mean?
mm.
So I was really like I don't think he's bad. It's just not my shtick always. You know what I mean?
It's a weird, like, yeah, you got Sleepy Hollow. It's there are a lot of weird movies.
It's very
I feel you.
particular. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the Coraline movies and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like very particular vibe.
Right.
But I really like it felt, it was refreshing in a way to see this movie again. Because like every room that they went into, like downstairs, like was all different. It felt like Dr. Seuss almost, you know what I mean? Like shit was like curved, people were like monsters, people were dead, alive for different reasons. It was just like, I don't know. It very much felt like how the original is like looked at. It was just like one of those like it's not even a Halloween movie, but it's like a Halloween movie. You know what I mean? Like this movie
Yeah.
takes place right around Halloween. It feels very like there's scary moments, but like when they first introduced him, when like the guy with the bag fell down the spoilers, when the guy with the bag fell down the sewer
Mm.
after the grandmother canceled the show, he's like, where am I? And like it was like the doof 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 with the lights.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like at first I was kind of like, oh shit, is he
Yeah.
like jump scares or something like that?
Right.
And
Right.
but
Right.
like throughout the movie, like those moments where he's like singing and stuff, like I'm laughing my ass off, and I thought it was like super super cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, dude. Some of his
So,
one-liners had us dying. There's a
oh
couple
yeah,
one-liners that got us both, dude, and we couldn't stop. Um, and just yeah, I thought I'm with you. I think that they did a really good job with giving that Halloween vibe. It felt like a Halloween movie. I like I said, I really want to go back and rewatch the original now and kind of compare them. But I
hmm
really enjoyed this film. I thought, like you said, Tim Burton, very unique style, very hard to get into his films sometimes. But I feel like with this specific character and this world, this weird world, because I feel like sometimes Tim Burton takes a grounded subject and makes it weird. I feel like with
yeah,
this one, he took a weird subject and made it weird, like that. You know what I mean? Like he fit what it was perfect, and I think it you really felt that
yeah.
throughout the entire film.
That's a
Um,
great way of putting it,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Um, and then yeah, all the I mean, Braden, you can talk about your favorite character in the movie, but there was a lot of really good
Yeah.
side characters, and everyone killed it, man. I thought the acting was great. There wasn't a time where I felt weird about it. I thought everything was solid.
This is how you know I like this man. Rory. I remember his name. I don't even need like when I like a character, I remember their name.
Yeah,
I'll refer to them
yeah,
by their name.
yeah.
Rory was such a good character because it was so it's such a weird film that like I think in a grounded movie, his character, like I looked at Logan, I was like, normally his character would piss me off bad. But for the vibe of this film, it's almost like how Jen Ortega says it about her grandfather in the film. He was like the last normal person in this family. And with Rory, it's not like he's normal. Like he's a complete douchebag. He's like a manipulator. He's a liar. But compared to everyone else, he was like the most normal person in the movie. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And so it was just funny to see him, like his character fit so well. And just all of the moments you saw him just kind of being deceptive and kind of being an asshole, but like moments that he was trying to relate in like it was weird. Like there's moments he was selfishly doing it, and then you could genuinely be like, yeah, no, maybe he did kind of care for a second. And I think he just played it well. His acting was so like raw, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then at the end when he like came out truthful, it was just like this perfect, you know. He was one of those characters. Even like the grandmother, like her returning. I know she's not a newer character, but like she came in and she played that the rich wife. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The trophy wife, and you know the oh wait, the biggest crazy part of this movie was Jenna Ortega's storyline here because I feel like that took me off guard when she met
With
the
what?
boy.
Oh yeah, that was one of my. I actually love that. I thought that
I
was
loved it too.
yeah. It was one of those things. It's like it gave life to the story. I'm not saying the story didn't have life, um, uh, before that or without that,
That's
but
what
it
created
added an
that layer
element.
though
Oh
of
oh yeah.
having Winona's story and
Yep
having Jenna's story. Like that's where it, like went from one into like two. You know
yep.
what I mean?
It was amazing. It 100%. And like you said, you just said it perfectly. That balance that they found with these characters was great. It's like they didn't just throw Jenna Ortega in just to have her carry on the torch. Like you said, they gave her a story, right? She didn't really make any dumb decisions that you scratch. She did some dumb stuff, obviously. Every character does, right? That's what causes the conflict. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's what that rising action leads to is them
But it
making
wasn't
a
like
decision. But
it was justified.
right, right. You could see why
There's a
she
lot
felt
of
that way.
time like in Scream when
Yeah,
someone has a gun, someone has a weapon. Why are you running at them with a gun? Stand there,
a loaded gun.
stupid.
It had a bullet
A
in the gun,
loaded
dude.
gun.
It had a gun. It
Why
had a
would
bullet
you
in the
run
gun.
at the person with a non-firearm
And,
weapon?
and then he
That
shoots
is
it, and then he shoots it when he's back there. But I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
that
Oh,
like
oh
that's
God.
stupid things that is not justified. It makes no sense. This honestly, she's like, I would be taken off too. Her mom like believed in ghosts. She's probably like, oh my god, like this is an actual thing now. He's making promises she can see her dad, and she's like, well, dude, like that's all I want. I don't know, you know what I mean? It felt justified, you know what I mean? Because as soon as she found out what was happening, she was like, what?
Well,
What? And it
that
immediately, the narrative was,
yeah, yeah, and that and it was a great tell on manipulation, how manipulative people can be. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Like
100%.
this guy just put on this smile. He was so genuine, and a lot of those little reactions he did throughout the scene where he first sees her in the treehouse, like all that kind of makes sense because it turns out that he was like, yeah, I'm actually dead. I fell out the tree. Turns out that he actually murdered his parents and then fell out the tree. And then when he brings Jenna Ortega over to his house, you see the back of the dad's head, and then you see the mom just this side of her face, and then eventually at the end of the movie you see them get up, and there's the mom has like a knife in her head, the dad has a
Yep.
chainsaw in the middle of his face. Like it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But you seeing that
It
manipulation, I
completely took
think.
me off guard.
Oh, way off guard, and
Like, I was not expecting it.
no, I wasn't. Yeah, you were gonna go pee too, and I'm like, I'm glad you
Yeah.
didn't, because you had that one and then the other reveal with him. But I thought they did a really, really good job with that and a good show at manipulation. And anybody can get manipulated by something like that. We all kind of have, right, with fake people. So I think there's just a relatability there, and I think that shows that vulnerability of the character, which is obviously huge, which makes her more human and makes her more relatable. And that's how you win an audience over, is making a character relatable, not running at someone with a loaded gun. That's a little bit different. That's how you hate a character and not get people engaged in it. So having that moment was really good, and it obviously led to her being in the that world and all that, and it was really, really good. I
Can
really
I
enjoyed it.
say I would have been? I think I'm telling you this right now. I would have been way more happy that they shot every bullet out of the gun and ran out of ammo before running at them with a loaded gun.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like that makes sense. Like yeah, if you don't have any bullets in the gun and you run at someone, yeah, you can pistol whip him, whatever you want to try to do. This dude had literally went up to, remember, they went up to him and went boom boom.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he would have just sat there and just missed every shot and then done that, I would have been way happier
Right.
than him doing. It's like, bro, this is not. You are not Captain Bryce, homie.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
mission failed.
yeah, it's crazy. That was really stupid, but
But yeah,
but yeah, like that whole storyline was really really good. Going back to your homie Rory, my favorite line from him was when he tried to make small talk with Jenna Ortega, and he's like, death can be. I don't know what it was. His delivery with that dude, we just both started dying, bro.
Because he was perfectly such an asshole, but like relatable. It was so relatable. You
It
know
was
what I mean?
real.
Like,
It was like a
it was
real,
real.
like an actual idiot who's like very selfish and in for himself. Like
Yeah.
it played that guy, that actor, man. His
He
name
deserves some
popped
more.
up. I've seen him before because that name that looks really familiar. I'll look it up real quick. Um,
Well, I don't want to go too off of point with this before we, finish this point. What I like about this movie is it almost felt like such like a community film. Like the points where like they're singing the songs, like that's one of my favorites. I see your face.
Yo, he's
Your
married
face
to
lit up.
or he was married to Jennifer Aniston. They were married
It's
from
crazy.
2015 to 2018.
It's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
That's
Sorry, go ahead.
wild.
That's wild.
No, but like the first time when he was singing, and he was like, "Yes, I swear, when the moon
Yeah,
and the stars in the
so
sky."
funny,
Like
dude.
I was like, dude, I started dying laughing. And then towards the end, like when they were singing and like flying in the air, my favorite part about it, or even when he went like the lucha libre voice, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my guy did not. Sometimes you could see like they were not on sync or they were not saying the right words, and it was like it just was funny. Like
Yeah.
it felt perfect. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I would have liked it less if it was like perfectly on sync. Like I don't know, like it was just the movie felt so fun and free formed that I was just like, because it's not. I don't say that in a bad way where I'm like on sync. Like it, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It just felt like perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. It
So
was it wasn't perfected. It was a campy. It fell into that campy, having fun. I think that's a great way to describe this movie. It's a fun film. Like when you go
Yeah.
watch this movie, you're having a fun time, and that's what the original Beetlejuice movie was too. And it was almost refreshing to have a movie like that. You know what I mean? With all these like serious films, or you know what I'm saying? Like they had
Yeah.
fun with it. It looked like a fun film to be a part of, and you could tell every actor and actress had a lot of fun on this set. So I'm with
Yeah.
you, man. It was
Yeah,
it was
no.
a good time.
And it's so funny. Just the last thing, when we get to the end, I look at Logan and I'm like, yeah, bro, like they're completely like ending the movie. Like they're setting it up so like they can't happen anymore. Because Jenna Ortega was like, she got married, she
Had a kid.
baby. And I was like, yeah, holy shit, they're really not gonna do another. And then baby Beetlejuice pops out, she wakes up from 2 dreams, and I'm like, nah. They're totally setting it up for another fucking movie.
Which I feel like you have to. Beetlejuice, then another Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
kind of have to. Michael Keaton's getting up there in age.
They're totally gonna set it up to where he's gonna eventually just come back. Like
Yeah.
regardless, no one's gonna die, but he'll find a way. Like they're setting it up for finally he's gonna make it back. Or,
Yeah, right.
You know what I
Something,
mean?
something. And we also got a little backstory to his character because the villain, the lady with the staples, I don't remember her from the OG movie personally.
I don't. I'm not sure either, but I'll look it up now. It's funny though because I feel like that's where it's funny you're making the Beetlejuice comment. I feel like this movie they kind of segued him into being more of the good guy. Like he really did care for the last 30 years. He's like, that's the love of my life, regardless of if he's still snaking it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's helped the family like get out. Like he's the reason that like Jenna Ortega didn't lose her soul. Like even if he was still in it for himself, he didn't like. You get what I'm trying to say with that? And almost they tried to position him more of like a anti-hero, like he was a good guy more than so than like
Then the OG
still being
one.
a bad guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to like you have like the Jenna Ortega boyfriend, and then you have Selin or whatever her name is. I can't think of her. Or
Which the actual girl with the staples.
yeah, I can't think of her
Yeah.
name.
It's a 4-letter word, dude. 4-letter name. Oh, dude.
I have the cast list right here.
Oh, that bothers me.
Dolores.
Dolores. Okay, there you go. I was totally off, but whatever, dude. No,
Yeah, it was okay. Me too. I was completely off.
Really off. No, yeah, she was actually a pretty scary. Like that's maybe the one thing they could have done a little bit better with this movie was maybe dive deeper into that storyline because there were so many other storylines going on, and they really leaned into the mother and daughter storyline, and Jenna Ortega's storyline, and then you have the Rory, the fiance, husband, boyfriend, whatever, and then Catherine O'Hara's storyline. Like, there's a lot going on that I think
Oh
that
my gosh.
what.
Sorry. Charles Dietz, like the guy that died, the grandfather. He's
Yeah,
it's Jeffrey Jones. He's like such a real he's a really good actor. I've seen him in the movie
yeah,
where he
Jeffrey
goes,
Jones.
from Ferris Bueller. He's the principal from Ferris Bueller.
That's funny. That's funny.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
not,
and,
well, I
and,
mean, he
and by
doesn't
the
have that
way,
line, but
Rory has been in like everything. That dude is. I mean, he was in uh, American Psycho, Charlie's Angels, Zoolander, Megamind, Lady and the Tramp, uh, Tropic Thunder. Like, this dude was in The Joker, Iron Man 2, Star Wars. This dude was in everything, dude. Like, that's crazy. What a cast. What a cast.
dude, they didn't have Dietz play himself, bro. I don't think. Because he didn't have a head. I wonder who played him. He's a good actor. I'm surprised they didn't bring him back, bro. Yo, the janitor was Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that was Danny DeVito. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
When I saw his face,
That's
I was like,
crazy.
okay, there's Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Nah, dude, yeah, it was a great movie, guys. It was a fantastic movie. I'm getting invested in everything now, but yeah. So yeah, Dolores wasn't in the first one. That's the other dude. I remember when I watched Ferris Bueller for the first time, I knew I had seen that guy before. It's because he is Charlie Dietz in that fucking movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but they probably just couldn't get him back for some reason, or he didn't want to come
Is
back.
he alive?
Yeah, he's 77, maybe that's why.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I really really enjoy it. Like, but I just feel like they could have dove deeper into her as a villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did like a 5, not even 5 second, but more like a 2-minute long like
just this
exposition
presence. Because even when they faced her at the end, she got mopped up.
Yeah, it just felt like it was like they needed to give Beetlejuice a story because everyone else had a story, and that's the story that they gave him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it just, like you said, like, I feel like, and there was some cool like, her kills were dope. Like, she would just suck the soul out. Like, it was really cool. Pause. And so there's like some really good moments there, but she just wasn't used enough or incorporated enough as she could have, and because she could have been a scary villain, dude. But I just feel like they might have fumbled that a little bit with her. The actress was great. And when she puts herself together with the Staples, dude, that was a dope scene. That was like, actually, like, I looked at Brayden, I was like, this is actually pretty cool, dude. Like, she just staples her face, bro, her arms off, puts it on, like, it's pretty good. So I really like her character, and that's probably my biggest negative is probably the fact that I feel like, didn't use her to the full capability. But that's what's so good about this movie is even her as, like, being the main villain, pretty much, in this film, not having her storyline be fleshed out fully didn't really matter too much because there's so many other good things that the movie gave us. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't need to fully do that. But I feel like maybe this film could have been probably in 2 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe had a better storyline with her. But like you said, she has this looming presence over the entire film after she's mentioned that is effective in a way, I guess. But it was just kind of a miss for me.
That's probably like the one, I'd probably say that is the one thing they could have expanded on more.
Yeah.
Done more with, because like it gave us backstory on why Beetlejuice died and how he kind of got in the position he did, but like again, it just did feel like a last minute thing to just give him something to follow.
Right. Yeah,
I thought you could have even done something more interesting with the fact, like when he saw Charlie Dietz die in the paper, you know what I mean? Like we could have seen something there, like maybe a storyline follow more towards that. Like we wanted to be with Dolores the whole time. I mean, not Dolores, Winona Ryder's character the whole time, anyways.
Right.
So,
yeah, I didn't really.
Maybe I've done more with her, just not even had her in the movie. It was just kind of like, again, it was good. It served. It served. It just was like this presence. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of strange, but yeah, overall though, I mean, like I said, acting was great.
Yeah.
The film was great. The visuals were awesome. It was a funny movie, bro. There's a lot of moments where we were dying laughing, bro. Like it's actually a real for it being, aimed like toward kids, like this was a really good film. When they bleeped out the F word, like stuff like that. It was very campy, And I mean, he even broke the fourth wall in that opening scene where he's like sitting in the chair. He broke the fourth wall, looked at camera, like stuff like that. I really enjoyed that they just went full send with this film and stayed true. And that's something we got to give it credit for. The OG came out in the 80s, right? The fact that they stayed true to the character and didn't mess really any of it up 40 years later, 30 years later is very impressive.
Yeah, right.
So props to them.
No, I give you that. You're right.
But yeah, what's your final thoughts on this, Mr. B?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying the same thing. Like, I don't know. I think I definitely said this is one of those sequels that they actually did it right. I know there's been a lot of that recently, thankfully, this year. But for terms of a sequel, for the series that they revived back from the dead 20, 30 years ago, this is one I think fans will be happy with. Like, if you were a fan of the first Beetlejuice, you will be extremely happy with where they picked up.
Yep.
You're honestly going to be it's ready for another. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was very happy with this movie. I think they did everything right from the story from the classic to get here now. I think they did everything right and sort of like the fanfare. It was perfect.
Yep.
I think you should see it.
There you go. Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking about a rating right now, and it's gonna be pretty high. Like, I don't think they did really anything really much wrong in this film. If you're like Brayden said, if you're a fan of this franchise, even if you're not, like, just go watch a quick recap of the first one if you haven't seen it, and then go in and watch this film, support it, because I think it like Brayden said, hit all the points it needed to, didn't do more than what it needed to do, didn't overstay its welcome. And you know what I mean? And I think it also added a lot to the story. I think, it didn't feel just like a money grab. And a lot of these sequels do feel like money grabs, even sequels done right. There's movies out like, did you really need to make Twisters? No, not really. You know what I mean? That was definitely more of a money grab there. Beetlejuice, they obviously are doing it for money, but I'm just saying it didn't feel necessarily like hey, let's just do a Beetlejuice movie and get like, I don't think so. It didn't. It's probably exactly what it was, but it didn't feel that way as a viewer. You know what I mean? Which is nice. But yeah, I'm with Brayden there. So let's go ahead and rate this film. I think I went first last time, right? I believe so. Or no?
I don't know. My brain froze. I was like,
all right. I'll go first then. I'm gonna go.
I just had the windows crash down. I was like,
no. I'll go an 8.8. I like it.
I'm gonna hit him with a 9.1.
Yes, sir. I was thinking of a 9. Honestly, like, it probably deserves like a 9.5. Like, it's a very good. Like, I have nothing negative to say. Like, I really enjoyed this film. It's not the type of film that I would necessarily always put on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is a movie that's funny enough.
Halloween's coming around.
Halloween's coming around, and also too, you can sit with like kids or anything, and everyone will enjoy it because it's funny for the adults, it's funny for the kids. Like it's a good family film. You know what I'm saying? So like, if that's what you're looking for with this movie, if you're looking for a fun family Halloween holiday, film, then I think it's everything the original Beetlejuice was. You know what I'm saying? Just modernized, and I think in a good way. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Another thing too. As after we rated it, but whatever. The fact that like this movie, when the first film came out, phones weren't a thing, like cell phones and stuff. They didn't. You know how some of these new sequels try to like incorporate the new modern technology in the film, and it feels really forced. That was not an aspect at all in this film. Looking back on it, it
felt like it was a perfect transition in today's society.
It almost
like
felt
they grew up while we grew up with them. You know what I mean? Like they already knew.
And it almost felt like you were even in the 90s, early 2000s, right? Am I tripping? Like it had that kind of vibe 100%. To it. The only time that you saw her take out a phone or whatever is when she was texting her mom. But
and at the end, the recording everyone. Right. That's the only reason you knew.
It's with the all the people on their phones. But yeah, like other than that though, like it didn't feel, that's probably their one little thing to say, hey, just to remind you guys, we're in 2024. But other than that, like I thought they did a really good job doing that, and it just even the Halloween vibe when they were like when Jenna Ortega was driving through the town, it felt like I was like Michael Myers was about to pop up, kill some babysitters. You know what I mean? But about to see Jamie Lee Curtis run around. But yeah. I really enjoyed this film. So, 8 point. I think I said 8 point. Did I say 8.8?
8.8.
8.8. Screw it, 8.9. And then we have
8.9
a
and a
9.1.
9.1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys let us know, man, what you think down below. I mean, if you guys are fans of the original Beetlejuice, what do you think about it? Let us know, baby. You know, give this video a like. Comment down below your rating on a scale of 1 to 10 of what you think about this, and subscribe if you're new, baby. A lot of fun stuff on the way.
Hell